Hey, it's May here. The question I've been asked is, should I go back and get an additional master's degree, or can I form a network of the right people to get where I want to get to instead? So a little background. This is a question from an older individual who's currently about to finish a master's in health innovation. And they're wanting to set up a nonprofit or work for a nonprofit somewhere globally abroad, and wondering if having that management mindset and understanding those nuances is going to help them be more successful in what they want to do. So let me start by, because this is a great question, because so many of us are thinking about, oh, do I go back and retool or get an additional degree after we've been working for a while? So on a more broad basis, I think there are 4 reasons to go back and get a master's degree. Here they are. First is the credential. Sometimes we need to have a credential. It's almost like the good housekeeping seal of approval in order to get into that new role. It can also be a great way to credentialize yourself so that you can make a smoother transition from where you are to where you want to get, especially if you're making a career change. So there's a credential, and sometimes you even need that credential just to be considered. Then the second consideration for getting a master's is the connections. So that's a network that you're going to gain access to. And that has a lot to do with the specific program and the specific school or university that you get your master's at. So choose carefully, choose wisely, because it's not just the people that you're going through the courses with, but also the alumni of that organization. Then the third thing to think about is the content, because you do go to a master's to learn stuff. And so when you're learning, you want to make sure that the content is something you want to learn. And the other question is, can you easily replicate that content somewhere else? I mean, these days there's so much great free content out on the internet, but what it really takes, and I find this hard personally, is you got to be really dedicated and put together the whole syllabus for yourself, which personally I find hard to do. And then the fourth thing is confidence. Sometimes having this additional degree just gives you confidence that, yep, I have gone through the whole process and I have come out the other end knowing more, being more credible, and feeling more confident. So you got to figure out whether how you fit into those 4 categories, and that'll help you figure out, does it make sense? And then you also want to consider the other side. So what are the reasons not to get a master's? So I think that there are 2 main ones. The first is time. Just takes time. What else could you be doing with that time? And the second one is money. And money is 2 things, because here we're really talking about the opportunity cost of your time and the opportunity cost of money. And so in thinking about the money part, there is the cold hard cash you're going to shell out for the program, but then there's also the lost earnings from not working during that period of time, especially if you're going full time. And then you've got to offset that or weigh it up against the future earnings that you think you might gain as a result of having gone through the program. So those are the considerations for the master's. And in the specific case that of the older individual that has written in, I would wonder whether you could do some experiments. And experiments are small steps to explore and get information without betting the farm and without having to go whole hog. So I wonder if you could do 2 things to experiment. One is to think about whether or not this is the right time. Can you start off on this path on the global health, working with nonprofits, without doing the degree, explore a little bit, and then make it a timing thing? So do some experiments, and then you can always go back and get the other masters. Then the second thing you could do is start talking to people who are in the field you want to get into. And that's great anyway. And ask them, or even observe whether or not they've gotten this kind of master's. Is it needed? What do they recommend? And maybe they would even become people that would either be in that network you might form of the right people that help you along with understanding these management nuances, or they could direct you to others who could form a group around you. So I hope that helps. I'd love to hear what you decide to do and how it turns out.